Thank you so much for watching or listening to the Jesus Family Orientation Series. This is episode 4. This entire series is designed to help give you more information about the Jesus family and the information you need to start your very own Jesus family. In episode 4, we're going to be walking through the 6 Jesus family commitments. Now, this is important because, as we talked about in our last episode with what is a Jesus family dinner, what does it look like? Once people get a taste of the fellowship and the relationship and the community and the love of a Jesus family dinner, you're not going to be able to keep them away. And that creates its own problem because you're going to be attracting people from all walks of life. And remember, our heart is to go for those who want to follow Jesus but might have lost faith in the church. And so they're going to be coming in from all different points of the political spectrum, of the moral spectrum. They may have beliefs or ideas or practices that you're not really comfortable with. So is a Jesus family the Wild West? No, it's not. We are all going to be centered around these 6 family commitments that are going to help us all grow together. So these 6 family commitments are for those who say, I'm in. These are my people. This is my family. What exactly am I committing myself to? So we're going to walk through the 6 commitments, and I apologize in advance. They all spell out the word family. It's a bit cheesy, but it will help you remember very quickly what our 6 family commitments are, and they all come from Acts chapter 2. So the 6 family commitments are: we will follow the way of Jesus together. We will actively serve and give our best for each other. We will marry our hearts to the love of Jesus. We will intercede daily for one another. We will live out the love of Jesus locally. And we will yield our hearts to the person and the power of the Holy Spirit. Let's walk through each of those. The F in family stands for we will follow the way of Jesus together. And that comes directly from Acts 2:42, when the earliest church was devoted to the apostles' teaching. The teaching of the 12 recorded for us in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The teaching that is exclusively focused on Jesus. The apostles wanted to teach these new believers in Acts 2 how to think, act, and love like Jesus. And so that's what we will do as the Jesus family. We will follow the way of Jesus. We will learn to think like him, to see the world the way Jesus sees the world, to interact with each other the way that Jesus wants us to interact with God the way that he wants us to, and interact with the world the way that Jesus teaches us to. So we will follow the way of Jesus together. And what's beautiful about that is the deeper you go into the teaching and the life and the ministry of Jesus, no matter where you are in your religious spectrum, whether you've been following Jesus for 50 years or for 5 minutes, there's enough change in there for all of us. Because the teaching of Jesus doesn't just stop at the external behavior. It's not just about rules and regulations. Jesus' teaching penetrates deeper to the heart, to the motivations of all of us. So there's room for growth in all of us. So that's why no matter where you are, if we can agree to follow the way of Jesus together, we will all grow together. That's the first commitment. The second commitment comes from their devotion to fellowship in Acts 2:42. How we rephrase that is we will actively serve and give our best for each other. This idea of fellowship in the New Testament wasn't just hanging out and having a lot of things in common. That word in the original language of the Greek New Testament had this connotation of sacrifice and service and suffering, not towards an institution, but for each other. And so that's why we say we will actively serve and give our best for each other. The people sitting around your Jesus family dinner table, the people in your Jesus family, they will actively and intentionally go out of our way to find ways to serve them, to bless them, to be there for them, to meet them in their point of need. So many times we think of a religion today that we're supposed to give to a church, and either a pastor or a priest is supposed to meet our needs. But the New Testament model is for us to meet each other's needs, which is why in the last night of Jesus' life, Jesus said, the new command I give you is to love one another. Love each other the way that I have loved you. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. He was describing fellowship. So the A in family stands for actively serving and giving our best for each other. That you are the ones to visit each other when you're sick in the hospital, to care for each other, to help each other out financially when you're in a point of need. That's fellowship. The M in family stands for marry your hearts. We will marry our hearts to the love of Jesus. That might take a little bit explaining, but that was the purpose behind the breaking of bread. It was designed not just as another ritual designed to, check something off of our list to keep God from getting angry at us. Jesus designed the breaking of bread as a way to remember Jesus' overwhelming love for us. When he said, greater love has no one than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. And then he gave us the breaking of bread to remember his death for us. Think of the breaking of bread as a warm embrace, like a spouse or a child embracing you. They don't have to say a word. Their embrace speaks volumes. The breaking of bread is Jesus' embrace of us, his embrace of love. And so when we say we're going to marry our hearts to the love of Jesus, it means that we're going to keep our hearts so deeply rooted in Jesus' love for us that everything that we do, every religious thing that we do, every moral thing that we do is going to come from a place of love, because that's where everything's going to be anchored. We're going to marry our hearts to the love of Jesus. That's M. And the I is prayer. We will intercede, which is another word for prayer. We will intercede daily for one another. A commitment to a Jesus family is not just to show up at someone's house to eat dinner on occasion. And it's not even just to serve in the community with those folks. It's making a commitment to pray for each other by name daily. Pray for the people in your Jesus family. Pray for them by name on a daily basis. God, would you be with them? Would you show yourself to them? Would you give them courage and boldness to tell others about Jesus? Knowing that everyone in your Jesus family is praying those exact same things for you. Pray for each other in your Jesus family, and pray that God would show you people in your community that you can love. And that's the L in family. We will live out the love of Jesus locally. And we see this from Acts 2:42 through 47, that their love for each other didn't just stay inside the four walls of their homes, but they gave to anyone as they had need. A little bit later in Acts 2:46 and 47 says that they enjoyed the favor of all the people. That means that their faith was so outward that everyone knew that they followed this Jesus of Nazareth. And people were so drawn to it that the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. So we will find ways to live out the love of Jesus locally, to serve, to bless individuals, families in need. And that's what we're going to primarily do through our family serve days. That's the L. And the Y is we will yield to the person and to the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's there intentionally, because none of this happened for the earliest church. The signs and wonders and the fellowship and the apostles' teaching, none of it happened until the Holy Spirit came in power. If you look at Jesus' final teaching to his disciples, recorded in John chapter 14 through 17, you see that it's actually exclusively focused on the coming Holy Spirit. Now, I know, depending on your religious experience, this might be weird for you, the Holy Spirit, because there's a lot of teaching about the Holy Spirit out there, and there's a lot of practices, and some of it seems a little bit crazy, and it is. But as a Jesus family, we are going to make a commitment to learn about the person of the Holy Spirit together. And we're going to learn to live under the power of the Holy Spirit, the way that Jesus taught us to. So those are the 6 Jesus family commitments. We're going to follow the way of Jesus together. We're going to actively serve and give our best for each other. We're going to marry our hearts to the love of Jesus. We're going to intercede daily for one another. We're going to live out the love of Jesus locally, and we're going to yield to the person and the power of the Holy Spirit. If you can commit to those 6 things, well, then you are part of the Jesus family. The next 2 episodes are going to talk about the 2 other components to round out what a Jesus family looks like. In the next episode, we're going to talk about family serve days. And in the episode after that, we're going to talk about family reunions. So keep watching or listening. Thanks.